Hey Internet, this is Andrew with the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and we're here to talk about the Haunting of Bly Manor, The Two Faces Part 2. We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and now our talk begins.
The first note that I have here, it goes back to something we just discussed in episode 6, and that's being tucked away.
Yes. When the possession happens, the possessed goes night-night.
And it seems to be like a force thing, right?
It seems to be like a force thing, but like we found out in the previous episode, apparently you can realize what it is. Apparently ghosts can't get out of it. They're forced to relive it or something, or at least until they hop. But it seems like humans can possibly do the change. Or maybe I've got that completely wrong and you can control it.
So it seems to be the unifying factor between ghosts and humans. So live humans get tucked away when a ghost takes them over. And then ghosts start to dream jump or whatever they called it when they are not possessing somebody. So it's like they're drifting through their memories while they're not like actively doing something. Like you said, like Hannah is doing her daily chores, or the lady in the lake is like doing whatever it is she does.
Well, and that would also explain when you asked earlier in an earlier review, Audie, about, Peter's there, but he doesn't always seem to be there. I think when he's not there, he's pulled into the memory of his mother. He's pulled, away.
Yes. Or he's possessing.
It was about the age of the ghost, and Peter even says this at some point, what he's learned from the other spirits in the house, etc. So it's about being a young ghost versus an old ghost. How long have you been doing this? Have you just been killing yourself over and over again, going through all these terrible memories and not being able to do anything or not being able to stop it?
And again, we also get this amazing, like they do such a good job of giving us something and then following it up and closing it. And we get that with his pull-aways. Is we see it from, I think the first time we see his memory, it's basically from his mom's point of view. He opens the door, we're looking at him, and he says, "Oh no." And that starts off their interaction, but we find out that's not his response to seeing her. That's his response to being in this fucking memory again.
It seems like there are certain sounds or something that pulls the ghosts into these memories, because at the beginning there, Bex hears something and then she's gone. And then Peter starts hearing the knocking. And then Hannah is hearing her own interview, So like there's an auditory signal.
I mean, the question is they get pulled away by what? Like why? And I almost wonder, because of all the classic ghost rules, not of this show, but just in general, ghosts exist because they have unfinished business. Like if you ask why a ghost is here, that is typically the big rule. So I wonder if like it pulls them away to give them a reminder of like, this is your unfinished business. Maybe, I don't know. Cause they seem, I don't think it's the sound is bringing them away. I think they all have just the beginning soundtrack of their go-to memory.
At the end of your dream, you're usually pulled out of it. Something from the live world is intruding on your sleep and it's seeping through, and that tells you you're dreaming and you're pulled out. But with this, it's backwards. These sounds are triggering them into these, they sink into the old memories and get sucked into a dream.
Oh, yes. It seems to be they have this thing that it's not so much that they can't just do them, like they can't just be ghosts, be themselves, because we can see, we've seen Peter just walk around. We've even seen Bex walking around. But at the same time, it's almost as though they can't control whenever they get pulled into it. If there is some noise or some memory or some trigger of some kind, they're gone.
I was going to move us on to the next bit, which also still rolls into this a little bit, which is the repetitive nature of being a ghost. How does everybody feel about Peter during this episode?
A more important possession in that Peter Quinn possesses Rebecca and murders her.
This I think is a big plot, and this really plays into the next one, because his whole idea of, I've gone through all of this time, I've figured out how to do this, I figured out how we can be together, and he eventually wins her over to this idea. Of course, everybody else in the manor is kind of like, what is wrong with her? She's clearly losing her mind. But she's actually seeing Ghost Peter and all this stuff happen. But then you see how he's like, oh, you have to let me in. So she does, thinking, okay, well, that's it. I mean, it's fine, you're just forever going to be with me, in my heart. And then he walks her into the lake and kills her. And then she's all of a sudden like, she's literally in her tucked away dream with him, having that happy flashback memory. And all of a sudden he's gone and the whole room is underwater. And she's literally like,
that was a great scene.
I mean, yeah, it just absolute such betrayal, and such you said it wasn't going to be this. And then that's why you see her just but I think ripping her heart out at the side of the lake.
She also realizes that this is not what she thought it would be. She thought it would be both of them, their now selves existing together. But in the dream, she realizes that it's herself and just the memory.
Yeah. It's her coming to him.
Yeah, that's never going to be satisfying.
Well, she got tricked by a ghost and it cost her life.
Well, I mean, she swallowed the red pill and, damn it, the red pill sucked.
But I feel like we should forget the fact that the second that Peter succeeds in his quest, he immediately wants to start murdering everybody. He wants to get rid of Hannah and make her into whatever, faceless. He wants to murder Danny. He's murder fool.
Yeah, but what I want to come back to is he said they were going to be together and then he left. And that's important. Yeah, she was in the tucked away place. They were snuggled up in bed, and then she walks into the water and he's gone. She wakes up.
Yeah, and then in the next memory, she says, "You left me. You hid from me after you killed me," because he was too ashamed to go back to her.
Yeah,
there was a period of time before they, I guess, got back together or whatever to start this take over the kids plan. He left her after murdering her because he was too ashamed. Fucking coward.
Yeah. Okay, so now he has a plan to take over the kids. So I guess if they're able to fully take over the kids, they can leave and grow up as incestuous Miles and Flora.
That's so creepy.
Guys, again, same show. All the incest.
I mean, I know they're half brother and sister now. But A, they don't know that, and B, they're still half brother and sister.
Oh God, what is it? A wedding?
It's okay if it's step now.
And there's children. That's still very important.
If they were stepchildren, it would technically be okay, but it's not. Yeah,
I have a feeling that Miles.
It's just that they're kids.
I have a feeling Miles and Flora's relationship is going to be one thing: perfectly splendid.
No.
Nugget.
Okay, and so
the thing I have is Lady of the Lake gets a grip.
Okay,
I was going to say, that would be the last thing. We were left off in the previous episode with Danny getting bonked on the head, the interaction with all of this, and then we see the betrayal of what's her face.
Right. So Rebecca isn't going through with the plan, and helps Flora get Danny out, and then Danny, of course, runs into the Lady of the Lake. So
yes,
but that's where the
I want to say that I was literally screaming the second started running down those. I was like, Lady of the Lake, you're in the Lady of the Lake path.
Really? I was thinking she was literally going to get hit by a bus or something.
In the country.
Yeah, or get hit by Henry, who's like, I can totally drive out to the manor. It's fine.
Thing I have.
Bourbon are the best roadside companion. No, but again, we're all super scared for Danny because it was awful the way Peter Quinn died, even with what he was doing, even with what he's done in the afterlife. That's an awful way to die.
So we're the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and now our talk has ended.
I still can't believe you haven't seen Ghost.
That is
before you
oof.
hang